Keir Starmer was visiting Stevenage. One pro-Corbyn frontbencher he sacked said he suspected the Labour leader had just been waiting for an excuse to purge Rebecca Long-Bailey from his team and was heading back to Blairism. Keir Starmer has angered the supporters of his predecessor and his runner-up. Some of them are tonight talking of trying to take back control of the National Executive Committee and destabilising a leadership that is only 3 months old.
Well, in something of a contrast, senior Conservatives have been rallying to the defence of the Housing Secretary Robert Jenrick amid allegations over his role in approving a contentious property development by a wealthy Tory donor. Mr Jenrick insisted he was motivated by the need to build more homes when he overruled planning inspectors to give Richard Desmond the go-ahead for the East London scheme. But Labour are demanding straight answers about his involvement. Our political correspondent Liz Bates reports.
In the shadow of London's imposing financial district, an empty building site, the scene of a £1 billion property deal that became a political scandal. It started when business mogul and Tory donor Richard Desmond needed quick approval for a development in Tower Hamlets. This was to avoid giving the council £45 million to spend on local services like this GP surgery. At a dinner, he told the Housing Secretary, Robert Jenrick, about it. Soon after, he got that approval, although it was later overturned.
Mr Jenrick has published all of the correspondence on this matter. The Cabinet Secretary has considered that and has said that there's no further investigation needed.
That correspondence, published yesterday, shows that Mr Jenrick began a text exchange between the pair on the night of that dinner. 2 days later, Mr Desmond welcomes the speeding up of the planning process. He says, "Good news, finally the inspectors' reports have gone to you today. We appreciate the speed as we don't want to give Marxists loads of dough for nothing." Mr Jenrick responds saying it's best they don't meet until the matter has been decided. Internal emails suggest that the Housing Secretary is keen to get the plan approved before the new levy kicks in. What was your reaction to that?
Well, I'm
Because that's you, the Marxist.
yeah, a lot of people had texted me about this and said, you know, they didn't realise I was a Marxist. I'm not. I'm a fairly old-fashioned sort of social democrat guy, actually. It looks like a sort of a trail of crumbs that points towards to a cynic, a dodgy political decision, and to a more positive person maybe just a terrible series of mistakes which have disadvantaged my community.
The former Conservative council leader here was so angry about Mr Jenrick's decision, he resigned. In terms of the 45 million, just to kind of put that into context, what does that mean in a place like Tower Hamlets?
So that money is meant to be spent on new infrastructure, so new schools, new playgrounds, new doctor surgeries. So, for example, we're meant to have a new secondary school on this site, and the cost of building that would be approximately £45 million.
We went to ask Mr Desmond why he made such an effort to avoid the levy. Hello, we just wondered if it was possible to speak to Mr Desmond. We're here from Channel 4 News. But he wasn't available. Boris Johnson has stood by his Housing Secretary throughout this, maybe unsurprisingly, given that he approved a previous Desmond development on the same site when he was Mayor of London. This is a planning row that has cost one of the most deprived boroughs in the country millions in much-needed investment. And with questions being asked over whether Mr Jenrick broke the ministerial code, the political cost could also be high.
Liz Bates reporting.